Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We were discussing the internal features of the midbrain in detail, and we will continue with that. Last time we discussed the reticular formation, the location, morphology of the reticular formation in the brainstem. Now, associated with the reticular formation is the reticular activating system. Reticular activating system. Now, what is the location, morphology, and functional significance of the reticular activating system? Location. It is located in the brainstem. The reticular formation of the brainstem is sandwiched between parts of the reticular activating system. The reticular formation of brainstem is sandwiched between parts of reticular activating system. Suppose if we cut a section of the brain, cerebral cortex, in midbrain, pons, next medulla oblongata, which is continued as spinal cord. Now the reticular formation is located in the brainstem. This is suppose reticular formation located in the brainstem, that is in the central core of tegmentum of the midbrain, pons and medulla oblongata. And I told you here is the diencephalon, the thalamus. And then cerebral cortex. This is a reticular formation which we have discussed in detail in the last lecture. Now I told you this reticular formation in the brainstem is sandwiched between the parts of reticular activating system. Now this is suppose part of the reticular activating system. Again located in the brainstem. And I told you that the reticular formation in the brainstem is sandwiched between two parts of the reticular activating system. So parallel with the reticular formation of the brainstem are parts of the reticular activating system, still located in the brainstem. This was about the location of the reticular activating system. Next, what is the structure or morphology? of reticular activating system. Now, reticular activating system in the brainstem running parallel to the reticular formation comprise of ascending fibers and descending fibers. Ascending are sensory fibers and descending are motor fibers. You suppose this part of the reticular activating system comprise of ascending fibers. The fibers, they ascend. Now, this is which part of the ascending activating system? This is the ascending neural pathway of reticular activating system. Then in this part of the reticular activating system, again there are bundle of nerve fibers which descend. This part of the reticular activating system is the descending neural pathway of reticular activating system. So, in the brainstem, parallel to the reticular formation is the reticular activating system. It comprises of two neural pathways, ascending neural pathway and descending neural pathway. Both are comprising of nerve fibers. The ascending neural pathway is the sensory pathway, carries sensory inputs to the cerebral cortex, and descending neural pathway of the reticular activating system comprise of again nerve fibers which descend, that is motor. This ascending neural pathway, it is the sensory component of reticular activating system, and the descending neural pathway is the motor component of reticular activating system. Now you know that the reticular formation is connected by ascending fibers. That is ascending tracts, the spino-reticular tracts from spinal cord. Spino-reticular tracts. Which have connection with the reticular formation of the brainstem. Then it also has connection with the reticular activating system, the ascending or sensory part. Now the fibers of ascending neural pathway of the reticular activating system, they enter the brain, approach the diencephalon, and they relay in the thalamic nuclei. What are those intralaminar nuclei of thalamus? intralaminar nuclei of thalamus. Now from the thalamus, these fibers pass through the corona radiata and lay in the cerebral cortex. Sensory cortex. Now this is the ascending pathway via spino-reticular fibers. The fibers enter the reticular formation of brainstem and also connection with the ascending neural pathway of the reticular activating system. The fibers from reticular activating system relay in the intralaminar nuclei of thalamus. Relay in the intralaminar nuclei of thalamus. And from the thalamus, these fibers pass to the corona radiata and terminate in the sensory cortex. Now, what is the other pathway? That is descending neural pathway. The motor fibers from the motor cortex descend through the corona radiata then continue to descend through the descending neural pathway of the reticular activating system. Then in the spinal cord, the impulses pass through the motor tracts, that is reticulospinal tracts. So just to summarize, the sensory inputs pass through the spinal cord and via spino-reticular fibers. These are related in the reticular formation of the brainstem and also has connection with the ascending pathway or sensory pathway of the reticular activating system. From the upper end, the ascending neural pathway of the reticular activating system enter the cerebrum and relay in the intralaminar nuclei of thalamus. From the intralaminar nuclei, the fibers continue to ascend through the corona radiata and then relay in the cerebral cortex. Then the other pathway is the motor or descending pathway. The fibers from the motor cortex descend through the corona radiata, descend through the descending neural pathway of the reticular activating system, and then the impulses enter the spinal cord where through the reticulospinal tracts these motor fibers descend. So the spino-reticular tracts carry sensory inputs and the reticulospinal tracts carry the motor outputs. So this was about the location of the reticular activating system, which is in the tegmentum of the brainstem and run parallel to the reticular formation of the brainstem. it comprises of an ascending neural pathway or sensory pathway which relay in the intralaminar nuclei of the thalamus and then relay into the sensory cortex. Then the motor fibers then descend through the fibers of the descending neural pathway of the reticular activating system, and then the impulses passes down through the spinal cord through reticulospinal tract. So this was about the location and morphology of the reticular activating system. Now, what is the functional significance? Of reticular activating system. All the body functions, they are tied with the reticular activating system. All the body functions are tied with the reticular activating system. Now, this reticular activating system acts by sending filtered or selected signals to our brain. The reticular activating system acts by sending filtered or selected signals to our brain. And this system thus acts like a filter. Now, at a time, so many sensory inputs they enter, but all these sensory inputs at that required time are not needed. Therefore, most of these sensory inputs are not allowed to enter the cerebrum by a reticular activating system. The reticular activating system select the required sensory inputs and discard the non-required sensory inputs at that time. So only selected or filtered sensory inputs which reach the reticular activating system are allowed to relay in the intralaminar nuclei of thalamus and then are relayed into cerebral cortex. Therefore, overloading of the brain is avoided in this time. Therefore, the reticular activating system, so the reticular activating system acts like a filter. It filters the incoming sensory inputs and allow only the required sensory inputs to enter. This was the functional significance of reticular activating system. The functions we will discuss later on in detail. Now, what is the summary? How the reticular activating system performs its function? Summary of the mode of action. Of reticular activating system. Now, with the help of a simple diagram, I will try to explain this. Suppose this is a sensory cortex. This is motor cortex, sensory cortex, and this is motor cortex, for example. Sensory cortex, and for example this is motor cortex of cerebral hemisphere. Now sensory inputs from the body. Ascend through spinal cord. Through spino-reticular tracts. From spinal cord. Then these sensory inputs ascend through reticular formation of the brainstem. These ascending tracts transfer the sensory inputs from the body into the reticular formation of the brainstem, and then the reticular formation is connected with the ascending neural pathway of the reticular formation. ascending neural pathway of reticular activating system. This is thalamus. Intralaminar nuclei. Now the sensory inputs from periphery reaching the brainstem reticular formation, and it is also then connected with the ascending neural pathway. Of reticular activating system. Now I told you what is the function of reticular activating system. It filters the sensory inputs, and the selected sensory inputs are allowed to the selected or filtered sensory inputs are allowed to relay in the intralaminar nuclei of thalamus. Selected sensory inputs which are required they pass from the ascending limb of the or sensory limb of the neural pathway of reticular activating system. This filtered information sensory input is relayed in the intralaminar nuclei, and from the intralaminar nuclei it enters into the sensory cortex of the cerebral cortex, relay in the sensory cortex of cerebrum. Now from the motor cortex, then the motor fibers descend and enter the descending neural pathway of reticular activating system. Now this motor information descends through the descending fibers of the descending neural pathway of reticular activating system. Descending neural pathway of reticular activating system. Then at the lower end of the medulla oblongata, this motor fibers, they descend through the spinal cord through reticulospinal tracts. And relay in the anterior horns of spinal cord. Anterior horn of spinal cord, which comprise of motor neurons. So this is the motor output. So this diagram shows just a summary of the function of reticular activating system. The sensory inputs ascend through the ascending tracts, that is spino-reticular tracts. And all these sensory inputs, they enter the reticular formation of brainstem and then into the ascending neural pathway of the reticular activating system. The ascending neural pathway of the reticular activating system do not allow all the sensory inputs to reach the cerebral cortex, because it will overload the cerebral cortex. So at the moment which sensory inputs they are required, they will be allowed by the reticular activating system to enter the thalamus and cerebral cortex. Other sensory inputs which are not required at that moment are not allowed to reach the thalamus and cerebral cortex. In this way, as I told you, that the activating system, the reticular system or reticular activating system act like a filter, like a guard at the gate, entrance gate, and allow some sensory inputs to reach the cerebral cortex and do not allow the others. So these sensory inputs, they are filtered by ascending neural pathway of the reticular activating system, and these filtered sensory information enter the thalamus where they are relayed into intralaminar nuclei of thalamus. Intralaminar nuclei of thalamus, and then the selected sensory inputs are relayed into the sensory cortex of the cerebrum. Then in response to these sensory movements, some motor activities occur. For that, the descending fibers, they descend through the motor cortex. These descending fibers passing through the corona radita enter the descending neural pathway of the reticular activating system, and then the reticulospinal tracts, the motor tracts, carry this information and relay in the anterior horn of the spinal cord, which are motor in function, and from the anterior horn, these then pass to their target organs, for example, muscles, glands, etc. In this way, in response to selected sensory inputs, motor activities takes place. So this was just a summary of the function of reticular activating system. Now, what are the functions? Functions of the reticular activating system. Functions of the reticular formation. You know, we first talk about the structure, location of the reticular formation, and in today's lecture we discussed the location, morphology, and functional significance of the reticular activating system. Now again we will first discuss what are the functions of reticular formation, and finishing with that we will then discuss the functions of reticular activating system. So we will now discuss the functions of reticular formation, not a reticular activating system. Functions of the reticular formation. Just briefly we will talk one by one. Number one, somatic sensory control. The reticular formation is concerned with the somatic sensory control. As just I explained that the sensory inputs when enter the reticular activating system, these sensory inputs are filtered and only selected and required sensory inputs are allowed to enter the cerebral cortex. Rest of the sensory inputs which are not required at that moment, they are not allowed. So in this way the sensory inputs from the body, they are controlled via the reticular formation, and secondarily then it is the reticular activating system. Next function is pain modulation. Pain sensation is also an important function of the reticular formation. Some of the body pains, they are not received. In this way, the pain is modulated by reticular formation of the brainstem. Now, next is somatic control, somatic motor control. Somatic motor control by reticular formation. The first function we discussed was somatic sensory control. That is, it controls the sensory inputs and allows some of the selected inputs to reach the cerebral cortex. Others are not allowed, thus acting as a, along with the reticular activism, acting as a filter. Similarly, pain modulation also occurs. Not all pain sensations are reached, they are modified and allowed to enter. Then somatic motor control is another important function of the reticular formation. So the motor activity is basically, the motor activity of the body basically involve what? Motor activity of the body basically involve which structures, which parts? Basically involve some important parts of the brain. What are these structures, brain structures? The motor cortex of cerebrum, it is involved in the motor activities of the bodies. Next, cerebellum. You know, for balance, posture, equilibrium, cerebellum perform very important part. Next is basal ganglion, also has an important role in motor activities of the body and the reticular formation. So these are some of the parts of the brain which are concerned with the motor activities of the brain. The portion of the reticular formation in reticular activating system, which forms part of the this function, that is the extrapyramidal system. A portion of reticular formation, a part of the reticular formation, a portion of reticular formation of the brainstem and the reticular formation and reticular activating system. Part of these two, they act with extrapyramidal system. You know, extrapyramidal system is also important part of the motor system. So apart from pyramidal system, which is a motor system, the extrapyramidal system also has important role. So portion of the reticular formation and reticular activity system act like act in collaboration with the extrapyramidal system. Now through its many connections, it can influence the skeletal muscle activity. Through its many connections, through its connection, the reticular formation can influence skeletal muscle activity. The reticular formation can influence the motor activity of the body via extrapyramidal system. Motor activities of the body via extrapyramidal system. Via extrapyramidal system. For example, it maintains appropriate muscle tone, body balance, posture, reflexes during movements, etc. In this way, in collaboration with the extrapyramidal system, the reticular formation has an important role in the somatic motor control of the body. Now, these are some brain structures which I just summarized, listed here. A lesion of any of these will affect the motor activities of the body. Next, awareness and consciousness is another very important function. Number 4. Awareness of the individual and the consciousness is also an important function of the reticular formation. Keep the individual aware in a conscious state. In this way, the reticular formation helps to maintain the level of consciousness and awareness. Next, alertness of the individual. Then vital central controls. Very important function vital centers control. It controls the vital center. As I told you before, that the lower part of the medulla oblongata, there is area postrema, where there are cardiac center, vasomotor center, respiratory center, these are all vital centers. Cardiac center, vasomotor center, respiratory center. I told you in the lower part of the medulla oblongata where there is an area which is known as the area postrema. So these are physiological vital centers in the reticular formation of the lower end of the medulla oblongata in the area known as the area postrema. So by these physiological centers, it controls the heart rate, blood pressure, vasoconstriction, vasodilatation, etc. Next is breathing and swallowing. Control of breathing and swallowing. So the reticular formation of the brainstem is also concerned with the breathing and swallowing. It controls the pattern generators associated with the medulla and are responsible for rhythmic signals for breathing and swallowing. Responsible for the rhythmic signals for breathing and swelling. For breathing and swallowing. So another very important function. Next, number 8. Eye movements. The reticular formation of the brainstem has an important role in eye movements. That is, which part of the reticular formation? Pontine reticular formation. Pontine paramedian reticular formation. Pontine, that is in the region of pons. It is a horizontal gas center. It acts like a horizontal gas center. And I told you before that there is a vertical gas looking up and down and horizontal looking to the right side or left side. So this horizontal eye movements controlled by a pontine paramedian reticular formation. And I told you before that the vertical gas is controlled by the interstitial nucleus of Cajal. But here we are discussing with the reticular formation, it is responsible for the horizontal gas center. Now the reticular formation is also involved in emotional behavior. Number 9. Emotional behavior of the individual. emotional behavior of the individual. Now, emotional behavior involve what? Emotional behavior of an individual again involve some parts of the brain, that is reticular formation, as we are discussing. Is involved and play a role in the emotional behavior of the individual. Then limbic system, olfactory system. Limbic system and olfactory system. Of all these, the olfactory system has a minor role. In emotions, the olfactory system is more involved in animals, but in human being, it has some minimum role in the behavior of the individual, but it has some role. Next, sleep-wake cycle. Sleep-wake cycle is another important function of the reticular formation of the brainstem. Next is the modulation of autonomic nervous system. 11. Modulation of the autonomic nervous system. Is another important function of the reticular formation. And coordination between cranial nerve nuclei. Coordination between cranial nerve nuclei. Coordinate the reticular formation of the brainstem, coordinate some cranial nerve nuclei to perform their functions. That later on we will discuss how it coordinates the cranial nerve nuclei. So in today's lecture, we talked about the reticular activating system, and then we again discuss the functions of the reticular formation. Now, in next lecture we will discuss the functions of reticular activating system. Most of the functions of reticular formation and the reticular activating system, they overlap. But there are some special features of the reticular activating system that we will discuss, and that is the action of the reticular activating system as a filter or selection of sensory inputs. So this was all about today's lecture. Thank you very much.